Today I'm going to show you how to make this really cute macrame Christmas letter ornament. And it's functional too, so you can count down to Christmas. Hi friends! For this project you're going to need a small 1-inch wooden ring, 2mm synthetic rope, and I'll leave a link in the description box for you, a pair of cute small scissors, a lighter so that we can melt the ends of our synthetic rope. Also, it's helpful to have a macrame board and some T-pins, as well as a tapestry needle. Okay, let's get started. First, we're going to attach 2 of our cords onto our wooden ring using a lark's head knot. To tie a lark's head knot, grab one of your strands of cord and fold it in half. Then with the loop end, thread that through your wooden ring, and then thread the long tail ends through that loop. Then just cinch up the slack. Then repeat with your second cord. Next, we're going to tie a square knot using all 4 of our cords. To tie a square knot, place your leftmost cord over top of the 2 centers, and then your rightmost cord goes behind and through the loop of your left. Cinch up the slack and then repeat to the other side. So make a loop on your right this time. Wrap your tail around and through that loop. Divide your cords in 2 and then grab your 3rd strand of rope, fold it in half, and place the center behind the first set of 2 cords. We are going to tie what I like to call a floating square knot. But don't worry, it's tied just the same as our first one, only our 2 outside cords are not attached. And because it's not attached, that means that our square knot can float up and down on our anchor cords. Okay, so slide your square knot all the way up to the top, just below your first one. Then we're going to have to do the same thing to the other side. Now, if you ever find that I'm going too fast for you, feel free to adjust the speed of this video by tapping the 3 dots on the top right corner, or you can go ahead and check out my knot tutorial playlist. Also, if you're enjoying this video so far, please do me a huge favor and give it a thumbs up. Alright, for the next row, we're going to tie 2 floating square knots on either side and a regular square knot in the center. What's great about this macrame ornament is that it's also functional. If you're ambitious enough like I am, you could make a whole bunch of these and turn it into an advent calendar. Or you could write your biggest Christmas wish and put it into the envelope and hang it on your tree. I'm sure there's plenty of ways you can use this cute little ornament. Let me know in the comments below. How would you use it? Alright, for our next row, we're also going to tie 2 floating square knots on either ends and then 2 regular square knots in the center. And finally, our next row is the last row where we're going to tie 2 floating square knots on opposite ends and 3 regular square knots in the middle. Now for the next 10 rows, all we're going to do is tie alternating square knots. Skip the first 2 and the last 2 cords, and then we're going to tie 4 square knots right in the middle. For the next row of alternating square knots, bring back down those cords you had skipped and then tie 5 square knots all the way across. Alright, so keep alternating your square knots until you've done a total of 10 alternating square knot rows. Make sure you end on a row that has 5 square knots across the bottom. And double check that you have a total of 15 rows in total. Now the next step is very important. You want to take your work and flip it over to the back side. Then grab your last strand of cord and place it evenly across your work. You want it centered as best as you can. Next, we're going to tie a row of double half-hitch knots. With your first strand of cord, you want to loop it around your filler cord and repeat one more time. Make sure your knot is as close as possible to your square knots. Grab the next strand in line and tie another double half-hitch knot. We're going to work our way all the way straight across the bottom of our envelope. When you get to the end, you kind of want to squish your knots so that they're centered. Next, we're going to trim and melt our fringe. However, you don't want to cut that last cord that we had tied on. I like to move it up and tie it into a loose overhand knot so that it's up and out of the way. We are going to need those cords in just a minute, so make sure you don't cut them off. When trimming the fringe, you want to leave just a small little tail end so that we can melt it. Grab your lighter and very carefully melt the ends you just trimmed and press it towards the back. Fold your envelope upwards so each point matches. And we're going to take the long tail ends and we're going to sew the ends shut. Now you don't have to have a tapestry needle for this, but it is very helpful. All I'm doing is sewing where there's gaps on the side of our square knots. And it looks nicer to have your cord end at the back so that when we melt it, it's not visible. And of course, you want to sew up the other side as well. I think these mini macrame envelope ornaments are absolutely adorable. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.